So this is a little off topic from what I've been doing lately, which is mostly tarot flip throughs because I've been collecting a lot of new decks. But as some of you may know, I make healing crystal bracelets. Back in the day, they used to be called power bead bracelets. Anybody remember that? However, today we're going to do something a little bit different. My sister-in-law bought us, me, and my mother-in-law. You know, at CVS, sometimes they have those little dollar bins of jewelry. And honestly, sometimes they're really cute. So she bought us little bracelets from them. And now my wrists are a bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is restring this slightly larger, adding a couple beads to make it fit me better. Because it is very cute and I would like to wear it, but I think I've been wearing it long enough. It should leave. Yep, you can see the indents there. So I'm just going to restring this. I know from past experience from making my own bracelets, generally speaking, this center ring says 7 3/4 inch center line is approximately the size of my wrist. Now, I have noticed that because I started stacking bracelets, you don't really see it so much there with two, but once you get like a third one on there, it starts pushing it into a bigger part of the wrist. So I'm actually going to be restringing several of my bracelets, not right now, but I will be restringing several of my bracelets so that they're a little more comfortable when stacked. Also, in addition to the very cute bracelet from CVS, she bought me this beautiful handmade one. And this one actually fits me, so I don't have to restring that at all. And this is by April Willis. So if you like this bracelet, this one, the greeny blue one, check her out. This is her business card. So April Willis, artist, and she made this beautiful bracelet and it fits me well. If you know your wrist size, you know that my wrist size is this size. So let's take that off and see how it fits. Just slightly larger, which makes it perfect for stacking for me. If you have a wrist slightly larger than mine, I think it'll still be pretty comfortable for you on its own. So check her out. Now to get down to it, we have a couple of steps here. Okay, so you can see, which side was it on? There it is. In these mass-produced bracelets, a lot of times that elastic will stick out because the bead holes are too small for it to go in. This actually goes in surprisingly well. It just seems to pop right in there except for a little bit there. So you don't even notice it, which is kind of a shame. I have to take it apart. Usually they stick out like a sore thumb and I want to take it apart just to hide that. Unfortunately, this one is pretty well hidden and I'm still taking it apart. But in order to keep it in the correct order here, I should have taken a picture first because I don't really want to change the order of the beads. I just want to make it bigger. I like to put it into one of these first before I clip it. It kind of helps to catch the beads. Now, which side was that on again? I always prefer to cut it at that elastic. I feel like they come off a little better. So let's go like this. And yes, I know that's a wire cutter, but I feel like the beveled edge makes it work better for me. So now I'm going to slide the beads off so that I can see exactly what I'm working with here. So I don't want to lose any. I apologize for all the background noise. It is still too warm to turn off the air conditioning for filming. So, all right, now I'm planning to put these are chrysocolla, by the way. It comes in multiple shades. I just happen to have a nicely matched pair that are on the blue side. Oh, no, wrong side there, buddy. And now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So we want to put this at 2, 4, 6, 8. Because this side is probably going to be on the underside most of the time. I would use a more decorative bead, but I really didn't want to dig out all of my supplies just to get one, and I happen to have this one handy. So I usually like a slightly larger hole for sliding the knot into, but in my experience that one usually works pretty well. So I'm using 0.5 millimeter. That is a little bit on the thin side for the bracelets I usually make. I save this for bracelets that have very small holes. I mean, for beads that have very small holes. Ironically, these little ones usually have decent sized holes, but in this case, I think I'm gonna need the 5. I can't even show you because it's so tiny. And I always give myself extra. This particular elastic is quite old. I'm only using it because this is for my own personal use. And I always give myself extra because you need room for knotting. I usually start by trying to get a grip on it, stretching it out a little bit this way, looking for any signs of weakness. And I probably overstretch it, but honestly, my bracelets don't tend to stretch out too much once I'm actually wearing them, probably because I do this so much. Okay, that's probably good there. Being that these are not actual gemstones, they should be light enough that it won't overstretch. If I'm using real gemstones, they get heavy. You know, like the chrysocolla, if I did a whole bracelet of chrysocolla, that would get heavier, and I would probably have to use a thicker elastic. So I got these from a jewelry supply shop. I love them. I used to use small binder clips, but they do have a tendency to pop off the elastic, the binder clips. These stay on real good. I love these. So I'm actually going to be starting from the middle because this is where I want my knot to go. So I'm going to slide that on first. And yes, I realize there's a lot of debris on here. That's snippets of elastic and dried glue because I like to secure my knots with glue. So I really did overdo it on the length of the elastic. I'm a little out of practice, been a very busy year, but that's okay. Okay. Great, that's gonna be nice and loose. Very comfortable, especially when stacking. So I probably could have done without the chrysocolla beads if I was just wearing it on its own. It really wasn't that much too tight for me, but I do tend to stack my bracelets these days. So this is gonna be hard to see because it is clear, but I just do your basic, I think they're called square knots, except I double it the first time. Pull it together, and you wanna pull it kind of tight. And I like to stretch it one side at a time, both sides at a time, just to make sure it's good and tight. And then I do it again, but after the first one, I don't double it. Some people do. I find that my knots tend to not stay very well after doubling it more than once. So you might be able to see that. You can see the second knot there. And normally I really put it through its paces, but like I said, this one's for me and I am a little out of practice. I gotta do the warm-ups, and I like to triple knot, and that's why I'm using the 0.5 right now because I can't remember how well the 0.7 does going through here, but actually it looks like it's going to be fine. Oh yeah, that's a pretty small knot, honestly. In most cases, just the knot will be enough to hold it steady, but I'm a little paranoid about these things. Whoop, come on. And I think I might have tightened it up a little too much because now it doesn't want to stretch out to do this. Oh, actually, wait. No, that's right. This side, I actually want it like this. Clipped in front of the hole I want the knot to go into. And then this one is to keep it from snapping closed on me while I'm working. Okay, so let's get the glue ready. This is E6000. I like to use the little bottles because I don't use a lot of it. And why did that come off? These rarely come off. Why did it come off? Please stay put until I can get the knot secured. So I clip it off, I don't know, about 1/8, maybe 1/4 inch long. And that's why all the debris on here. Now my glue is starting to dry out a bit too. And it just came undone again. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Okay, I'm wrapping the knot in glue. Oh my goodness. Then I let it slide in. There we go. I take the other clamp off. There we go. Now, if you make your knot big enough and put enough glue on it, sometimes it will literally suction up and glue itself to the next bead. I love it when it does that. I had to use the smaller elastic, so the knot is not big enough to do that. But when it does that, it really does secure that knot very, very well because there's no pulling on it because the next bead is just stuck right there. But I also like this because if the glue is big enough, the knot's big enough, it kind of glues itself to the inside of the tube. It just really secures it well. Now, I normally would not put this on immediately after making it. I like to let the glue cure to make sure the knot doesn't come undone, but just for demonstration, fits well. So there you go. Resizing a CVS 99-cent bracelet. Pretty simple, as long as the springs don't pop off the corner. So I hope you've all had a wonderful day, and I hope tomorrow is even better.